Kishi was arguably the most famous, most successful synthetic organic chemists in the history of the field.
Professor Kishi had a profound influence on the art and science of organic synthesis. His group tackled natural products of astonishing complexity, molecules that challenged really what chemists thought was possible at the time.
Kishi once told me that he never published a total synthesis in his group if it had already been published before.
He would wait several years to see if anybody else could synthesize them. If it was easy to do, he wasn't interested in doing it. Kishi came up essentially with a concept that we now call acyclic stereo control. And that created the field and really revolutionized the way he and everyone else did organic synthesis.
In the history of organic chemistry, Professor Kishi will be remembered as someone who discovered a reaction methodology and then used that methodology to discover, develop, and manufacture a medicine. I know of no other scientist that can make that claim, and thus Professor Kishi stands alone in that regard.
Another remarkable contribution was the development of nickel-chromium co-catalysis in the Nozaki-Hiyama-Kishi reactions, which have evolved into staple methods for the preparation of carbon-carbon bonds.
Kishi was an extraordinary mentor. He certainly led through example, through his high standards, and so many of them went on to have absolutely extraordinary careers.
I asked Professor Kishi how he garnered the respect and confidence of his group early in his academic career. On Sundays, the quote, day off, he said that he would come into the lab very early and run all sorts of crazy TLC experiments. And then Monday morning, he would have informed suggestions for members of the group. And that type of leadership by example is something that he exhibited not just in academia, but also at ASI. Kishi exhibited tremendous discipline and patience in how he managed activities in his group.
If the relationship between advisor and student is successful, the student surpasses the advisor. It's both this patience and then this ability to acknowledge that you've been surpassed, that the student knows more about the project than you do, and then it's time for them to leave because now they have the ability to lead.
If there's one thing that I am grateful to Professor Kishi for, it's really that he raised my ambition about what we could do as scientists and made me want to pursue things that looked impossible at the start.
He chose problems that were, at first glance, ridiculous, like making paleotoxin or doing a drug discovery program based on helicodrins, but he always succeeded because of his perception of practical approaches to solve problems, to break them down into manageable components, and then to recruit people to work on those problems that shared his same fearlessness to attack those seemingly impossible hurdles.
Graduate education is at the core of everything we do in CCB. The research that we engage in, it's a platform for the training of the next generation of academics, industrial leaders, policymakers, journalists, just a broad and well-equipped workforce that will contribute to solving the most pressing problems facing society today. It's a real privilege to work in the same labs where Professor Kishi made many of these groundbreaking discoveries. The legacy of that space is a motivation to our group, it's an inspiration, and it's also a challenge to uphold the very highest standards of scientific rigor and creativity.
All the concerns and fears and real obstacle to secure funding to do the research that we want to do. It's had a really distracting and damaging effect on the graduate student experience.
By definition, basic science research is rarely profitable in the short run, but the training of people who can think deeply and tackle very difficult problems, that's critical, and I think one of the smartest investments that our nation can make.
I promise that we continue to attract the best students in the world to Harvard, and then providing them with a mentorship to do their best work. And the support from alumni and donors is going to be an essential part of that.
I think if we honor Yoshi's vision, it would be to make possible that kind of environment to persist.
If there is any credit given, all these credit to go to very creative, imaginative, committed, hardworking colleagues in our group, and that go to this. And thank you so much for your attention.